To start things off, I'd like to apologize for our technical difficulties during last week's race review, and the less we talk about that, the better. Tonight, the FARC Lowe Dollar Series visits the River Spirit Expo Center during the Tulsa, Oklahoma State Fair for the third year. This is a massive indoor facility with a temporary dirt oval constructed for the FARC race. Chuck Johnson took his first pole of the season over Billy Ray Smith-Thompson, who became this year's first three-time winner at Roswell. Smith-Thompson took second place in the standings over Johnson with his win and cut the gap to points leader Mark Thompson to just 29 points. But Johnson will grab 10 bonus points with the pole tonight, and he'll need every point he can get to stay in contention for the championship with just 4 races remaining. By the way, Mark Thompson isn't starting too far behind as he rolls off 5th. Tonight's race will be the last one of the season to be split into 2 stages. The 11th through 36th place starters will race for 20 laps, with the top 16 finishers joining the top 10 overall qualifiers for the final 80. Zach Webster took his second trophy dash of the year after failing to qualify, just as he did at Nelson Ledges. The rest of the top 5 were Rick Forrest, Carl Hampton, Grant Carsons, and Danica Hollifield, all drivers who usually make the feature. Silly season is underway with the first major signing for the 2019 FARC Lowe Dollar Series season. Team Thunder just announced that former TM Master Cup Series winner Jacob Card will drive their number 77 entry full-time next year. Card is currently splitting that car with Ryan Matthews and rookie Daniel Sharp. We have no word on his sponsor lineup yet, but I imagine we will receive that news later. In other silly season news, TM Light Series team owner Dan Timothy has recently talked very highly of an untapped talent pool that he saw in FARC racing, and he's gearing up to do something about that, as he was in attendance this weekend to announce his intention to enter FARC next year to develop drivers and mechanics. While he wasn't sure he'd be able to enter the first few races of 2019, he expects to field at least one car for a majority of the season. And now we go trackside to bring you the highlights of the Pro Laps 100. Eric Cardona leads at the start of Stage 1 over Dan Lechleiter and Anthony Griffith. The 18-year-old dirt tracker from North Carolina qualified 3rd in his only other start of the season in Springfield, Illinois, but he fell through the field and blew up early. Speaking of falling behind early, David Bloom is off the pace in the number 69 after receiving his 3rd wildcard spot in a row. This isn't terribly surprising, but Team Bird is always grateful to just be at the track, especially this weekend, since David Bloom's primary and backup cars were both seriously damaged after being run over by faster traffic at Provo and Roswell. So to get Bloom into this race, team owner John Burr withdrew his own entry and slapped a 69 on his personal car for David Bloom to drive. But we've got our first caution on lap 6 as Kerry Fenton got squeezed into the wall by Todd Stater. Kerry Fenton was especially looking forward to this race, having come from the dirt late model rings just like her teammate Noah Dalitz. But she's not having a good start to this race. On the restart, Kenny George hits the wall. He's joined by Lawrence Burr, Ruslan Bashimov, and Andrea Kinasa, the second wildcard recipient for tonight's race. 3 laps to go on the next restart, and Harry Esanola, who started all the way back in 15th, is challenging Dan Lechleiter for 2nd. The Team Thunder teammates of Anthony Griffith and Ryan Matthews are right behind these two, and as we get a caution that will end the stage, Harry Esanola grabs the 2nd spot. And the caution is for David Bloom, getting run over by Tony Long on the restart and being put into the wall. Fortunately, that's not nearly as big of a wreck as we saw in his previous 2 races. But again, Stage 1 will end under caution with Eric Cardona in the number 910 having led every lap. The top 16 will go on to join the tail end of the Stage 2 lineup, led by Chuck Johnson and Billy Ray Smith-Thompson. Chuck Johnson is coming off of a couple of very disappointing finishes at the most recent Western races, and now he has to fend off Billy Ray Smith-Thompson, who's trying to make a move for the lead around the outside. You saw a little bit of contact between the 42 and the 46. Some hard racing by the former FARC champions to start things off. Smith-Thompson lunges at him off of turn 3, but we're going to get an early caution. Chuck Johnson hangs on at the line. And just like the wreck we saw between Todd Stater and Kerry Fenton at the start of Stage 1, Michaela Perry-Jones is going to squeeze Donnie Ashcroft into the wall, but he is joined by the Team Thunder teammates, Anthony Griffith and Ryan Matthews. A 4-wide situation behind this wreck results in Ryan Matthews getting turned around by his own teammate. They all go spinning into the pit lane, but they will rejoin the race. Kelly Splicin qualified third, easily her best effort of the season, but she squanders it as she goes for a spin on the restart. Splicin now has a lot of ground to make up as she carries the flag for Accelerator Motorsports after her teammate Zach Webster failed to qualify. Riley Durbin, the winner up in Delaware, Ontario, started 7th, and now he challenges Billy Ray Smith-Thompson for second. He's going to take the position quite easily, and now tries to take advantage of the lapped cars of Donnie Ashcroft and Alexa Lake to go for the lead. Oh, Chuck Johnson trips over the 26, sends her around, and will lose the lead to Riley Durbin as the field takes the caution. Donnie Ashcroft and Ryan Matthews were in front of the leaders as they took the caution. They will get their laps back. But Chuck Johnson looks like he gave Riley Durbin just a little bit too much room, didn't know the 26 was there. And, Billy Ray Smith-Thompson got shoved into the pits by Hunter Blaze as he slowed down for this. And Alexa Lake is joined in the wall by Dan Lechleiter and Mo Lester. Lechleiter would unfortunately drop out of the race under this caution. He would become our first casualty of the night. Not sure if it's related to his spin into the wall. And Chuck Johnson had a tire cut down from that contact with Alexa Lake, but he would not lose a lap as he pulled into the pits to change it. Riley Durbin leads a very messy restart. You saw Alexa Lake nearly get turned around by Anthony Griffith. And Rip Tyler also went into the wall, but he kept it straight and would not cause a yellow. But Riley Durbin is surrounded by lapped cars right now. Jim Kidd and Todd Stater fight for second behind him, as Durbin can't really go anywhere with Alexa Lake and Michaela Perry-Jones, who have, of course, both been off the track and fell off the lead lap. But Durbin is now going to clear the 26 of Alexa Lake. He still has the 93 of Perry-Jones to his inside. Perry-Jones in the 93 for the Ike Durbin team, wrestling with her sort of teammate Riley Durbin over at Focus Autosports to try to get back onto the lead lap. Here comes Todd Stater making a move to the inside, but he would not complete the pass, and Packer Carroll, running 12th, spins into that turn 1 wall to bring out our next caution. And on the restart, Todd Stater's going to lose second as he goes into the wall. He's followed by Harry Asinola and Hunter Blaze. I wonder if turn 1 is especially slick. Of course, this quarter-mile dirt oval is constructed in the span of a week every year here in the Tulsa Expo Center, so we don't exactly have time to get it perfect, as Joshua Pacer gets speared by Packer Carroll as he exits the pits. Pacer was running in 10th. He keeps going, but is going to drop back a few spots because Packer Carroll can't pay attention. Noah Dalitz, for some reason, loses control of his car under caution and ends up stuck in the pit lane. And I don't know how we missed this with the track being so small, but Jim Kidd has apparently run into the back of somebody under caution, so he's going to have to pit to get the whole front end pulled off and will lose second. More problems in turn 1 after the restart. Anthony Griffith and Todd Stater once again go into the wall. Griffith has had a miserable race, running off the lead lap ever since that first accident. And after the following restart, just past halfway, Chuck Johnson had made it all the way up to 5th, but he hit the wall and lost all that ground that he made up. Turn 1 has been a killer for a lot of drivers tonight, but Eric Cardona hasn't had any problems as he started 11th after winning stage 1 and has made it all the way up to 2nd. He's been attempting a lot of the dirt races ever since 2017. He's failed to qualify for a few, but he's made it tonight, and he's driving brilliantly. But now we've got more problems for Alexa Lake as she gets turned around by Hunter Blaze heading into turn 1, bringing out our 10th caution of the night, counting the 3 that we had in stage 1. Battle for second on the restart. Mark Thompson gets under Eric Cardona and prepares to show him a thing or two about dirt racing in the FARC Lowe Dollar Series, getting a little bit of contact between those two. But Mark Thompson wrestles his way by and now works on chasing down Riley Durbin for a second win of the year. And after winning the pole and leading the first 14 laps, Chuck Johnson's miserable night continues as he had to pit under that last caution and fell a lap down. And that's Rip Tyler blowing up. Tyler has also had a particularly rough night and it now comes to an end. But Chuck Johnson, seeing red right now, is gonna try to make up all the spots he can, but he doesn't have a whole lot of options with all this traffic on this tight little racetrack. Michaela Perry-Jones's night has also left a lot to be desired, and that's just going to continue as she goes into the wall. Harry Asinola hits the wall once again. He's had a lot of trouble tonight, but he doesn't seem to have let that bother him as he has remained in the top 10. Of course, Harry Asinola does have a win at this track all the way back in 2015 when he grabbed it after multiple overtime attempts, back when that was a thing. Anyway, coming to 15 laps to go, Riley Durbin is pulling away with a clear racetrack in front of him. Things do seem to be settling down a little bit, so let's take you through the field. Mark Thompson remains in second place. Hunter Blaze has a battered car, but he doesn't care. He's up in third. Todd Stater in the 66 remains in fourth, and that's Kelly Splicen fighting him for that spot. Kelly Splicen has recovered after hitting the turn 1 wall earlier in the race. Billy Ray Smith-Thompson has also recovered after being shoved into the pit lane in an earlier incident. He's all the way back up to 8th, and he's staring at the back bumper of Joshua Pacer for 7th, and that's Eric Cardona just in front of him, running in 6th. He's dropped back a little bit after being all the way up to 2nd just a few laps earlier. Maybe he burned off his stuff a little bit. Under 10 laps to go now, and the highest battle towards the front of the field is for 4th. Kelly Splicen makes the move on Todd Stater in the 66, and that's the 17 of Hunter Blaze right in her sights. Maybe she can try to get that spot as well. But lap after lap, Todd Stater is hanging on to that top. It's quite a bit of grip in that cushion, especially towards the end of this race when everybody's equipment is wearing out. But Hunter Blaze having a little bit of trouble with Michaela Perry-Jones, the lapped car. Oh, and Todd Stater washes up the track. Oh, that's Anthony Griffith that's hit the wall. And Stater was held up, trying to not run into the back of him. Kelly Splicen took the 4th spot. Anthony Griffith brings out the 12th caution in just 100 laps, coming to 5 laps to go. But we'd have time for a quick 1-lap shootout. Not that everybody behind Riley Durbin is going to be able to do much about that, because he's got 3 lapped cars in between himself and second place Mark Thompson. And with no traffic to worry about whatsoever, Riley Durbin cruises to his 2nd career win. Mark Thompson drove a race that reminded us of his early season performances, not leaving the top 5 at all during the course of the race, and finishing 2nd for the 4th time this year. But while there wasn't much of a battle up front, we did have a 3-way drag race for 3rd. Coming to the line, it looks like Kelly Splicen just barely took the spot over Hunter Blaze, but the ProLap scoring system put Blaze in front of the 96. Kelly Splicen and the Accelerator Motorsports team protested, but the electronic scoring is the final word. Hunter Blaze took 3rd with Splicen 4th, and Todd Stater 5th. Joshua Pacer recovered from his earlier wreck to finish in 6th, the first time he's finished in the top 10 since 7077 Speedway, where he also finished 6th. Harry Asinola, despite hitting the wall multiple times tonight, would finish in 7th, beating out Eric Cardona for that spot. Cardona grabs his best career finish in just his 2nd start of the year. Billy Ray Smith-Thompson would hang on to his hard-fought 9th position, and Brandon Crasta in the number 630 would finally grab a top 10 this year. Mark Thompson extended his points lead once again to 77 points over Billy Ray Smith-Thompson and 137 over Chuck Johnson, who continues to fall behind. Todd Stater closes in on Anthony Griffith for 4th after Griffith had a rough night. Jim Kidd's good start went south, and he only gained a few points to remain in 6th. Michaela Perry-Jones overtook Packer Carroll and Daniel Lecklider as Carroll's 18th place points and Lecklider's 26th place points were thrown out tonight due to the best of 10 rule, while Perry-Jones only ran her 9th race tonight, keeping all of her points so far. Riley Durbin has jumped from 18th to 10th with his 2nd win and only 8 races under his belt so far. This does move Rip Tyler back to 11th after he had a race just about as miserable as his teammates, but mercifully not as long. Harry Asinola moves up to 12th from 14th, Truman Ellison was not scheduled to run this race, and Carl Hampton and Zach Webster had their points from the trophy dash thrown out tonight, so they remain where they are in the standings. Next week, the men, women, and children of the FARC Lowe Dollar Series jump from one of their shortest tracks to the biggest as they climb the high banks of the Talladega Superspeedway in the Laco Breaks Sweepstakes. And as always, you'll be able to catch all the action right here on the FARC Racing Network.